Well, hello everyone. You are very welcome to The Woman at the Well. My name is Miriam O'Gara Kilmurray, and it's a beautiful day today in West Donegal. I wanted to mention a couple of things. Today is the first anniversary of my consecration to Jesus through Mary, through the St. Louis de Montfort consecration, which is 700 years old. It is the oldest act of consecration to Jesus that exists in the Catholic Church, and it is basically symbolized by this. I'll just bring this a little closer. You might notice there that I have a simple gold chain. Well, that is typical of the St. Louis de Montfort consecration to Our Lady. So where we were enchained to sin, we are consciously asking in this consecration that we now chain ourselves to Our Lady, chain ourselves to her Son's heart. And it has been a roller coaster year, to be honest with you. So many things happened. I mean, when I decided to do the preparation for the consecration, well, the first step is actually to choose a feast day, and today is the 16th of July, which is the feast of Our Lady of Mount Carmel. So I picked that one because my father's brother, he was a Carmelite. He was a Kelst Carmelite priest. So in his honor, I thought I'd go for Our Lady of Mount Carmel. And then what you do is you count back a month and you start your preparation from there. It's a daily preparation. And it's beautiful. The reflections are fabulous. There are lots and lots of different ways to do this, but they all have this same process of you pick a feast day and then you work backwards. Because I hear my dogs moaning in the background. It's not just the heat. They're saying, oh, she's talking again. She's at it again. She's off. But anyway, they've settled down, I think, now. So today I just thought, apart from kind of being a little bit blown away that it's a year already since I did the act of consecration, I've reflected also on the different things that have happened. As I was about to say there, the consecration takes you through steps that just guide you very, very specifically in the direction of Our Lady, how to bring her back into your life. Or if you've never had a relationship with Our Lady before, how do you start that process? Or does she start the process? And I think you'll find that that's the way around, that it is. It's that way around. So all kinds of different things happened. Yeah, I can hear you. I'll shush in a minute. It's like being married, except the dog is doing more complaining than the husband. The thing that I didn't expect was that at the end of the year, the first year, that Our Lady would actually take me to Medjugorje, which I never had enough money to go to Medjugorje before, but various things just came together, and it meant that I did have an opportunity suddenly, and I took that opportunity and I ran with it, and it was a great experience, done against some difficulty around me at the time, which I'm not allowed to talk about in any detail because it's not my story to relate, but still gave so many graces, so many graces, and I'm sure at some stage in the future, I will be able to talk about the reasons why, but just at this moment I can't. So one of the places in Medjugorje, which is just the most wonderful place, where Our Lady is still appearing every single day and has been for 45 years, one of the sisters associated with the town of Medjugorje, Sister Emmanuel, she also runs a very interesting, I'll just go put my glasses on for a moment, very, very interesting website. And her name is Sister Emmanuel, and she actually, you can get this on Spotify. It's a talk she gave called Living in the Present Moment. And she's actually quoting the wife of someone who had been for many, many years oppressed and possessed and was freed. And she talks about how this lady Daniela reflected on peace. And I just felt it was worth reading. So I'll just read it for you now. We now understand that the key to peace is to live in the present moment, in the reality of today. This is the only moment that truly belongs to us. Now that's an extraordinary comment, isn't it? But it's so true. We've no control over the past anymore. It's done. We have very little control over the future. But we are in the now. The past is gone. We cannot change it. So there's no point in living with guilt. That's a nice one, isn't it? There's no point in living with guilt. Past is finished. The future does not belong to us. We do not know what it will hold. It is in the hands of God, and we trust in Him. Our Creator gives us the spiritual graces we need. With the Lord, there is no problem we cannot face. Ultimately, of course, that is true. I just want to play devil's advocate for a moment on one or two points there. I know in my life that I was going through deserts, I was going through difficult times, and sometimes I would say, why is it that all the scripture that I learned when I was in my youth, all the prayers, all of the blessings, why are they not coming to my aid now? Why are they not coming to my aid now? Why am I in this desert? Because I can't face what's going on in the way that I perceive the Lord would want me to face it. I should be stronger. I should be this. I should be that. I should be this. I should be that. We'll just hold for a moment, because Jesus, when He died on the cross for us, and I've said this in my testimony about having seen Jesus on the cross when I was 16 years old. He died for you, for me too, but He died for you, knowing full well that He had to do this for you, because you are not God. You are His creation, and as perfect as you are in His eyes, you're not perfect because you still have the stain of original sin, which means that you make mistakes. You are a human being. You are not God. So He's dying on the cross with total and utter love for you. And I mentioned in my testimony, a testimony which I gave at Medjugorje. It's called I Saw Christ, if you want to find it on Tom Medjugorje, on his channel, at Tom Medjugorje. It was extremely obvious to me at the time that he was almost embarrassingly dedicated to me. It was too much to take for a 16-year-old at the time. The total love and affection, and I saw it once. I saw it in my father's eyes when he looked at my mother when my dad was in his last days, and my mom had extremely bad Alzheimer's, and I had just managed to get her to the hospital so that he could see her, but of course she didn't know who he was. And I saw that same level of love being reflected as he looked at her, in, pitifully heartbroken. And that's what I saw that time on the cross as well. So the point I'm trying to make here is that there are times when you might expect more of yourself, and you're failing, and you're failing, and you can't muster up either the clarity of mind or the prayer to be able to get yourself through whatever desert it is you're going through. But just know that he did this for you anyway. Just know you belong to him. You belong to him because on the day you were baptized, you were marked with the indelible mark, with the character of Christ. And this is why it's so important that when you're as young as possible, when you're a baby, that you get baptized, because it's not about the Catholic Church grabbing you for themselves. It's not about that at all. It is about purity meeting purity. You are in your most pure form when you are a newborn. It's not about choice and all these worldly secular things, choice. I have to choose. I'm going to wait until my child is old so they can choose. Yeah, well, okay, that's fine. They can. But I often hear women saying things like that, and they don't know this part. Or they actually know it, but nobody's refreshed that memory. In some cases, they don't know it at all. So, again, playing devil's advocate, yes, we go through these things, and you might say, why am I not getting... None of the stuff that I learned when I was younger is coming to my aid. Well, again, he's known to work that way. Your guardian angel is always with you when you go through the deserts. Ask your guardian angel to help you. Ask your guardian angel to guide you through, because they're there. They are his provision for us in those times, because we learn from those deserts. We learn what we're made of. We learn our faults. We learn what our extreme sin. We learn the length and the breadth of our strengths and weaknesses. And that's like going to the gym. So we need this. We do need this. We don't have all the answers, and that's okay, because we are not God. And this journey that we're on is going to have crosses, and it's going to be a situation where you've got to walk by faith. That's why being a Christian is so far removed from the rest of the world. So for anybody who says here, I don't believe in the statement, there is no problem we cannot face. Actually, provision has been made way back in the past. Not only have you been given the indelible mark, which you can simply stand there and claim and say, I belong to him, Jesus Christ, but you also have your guardian angel, to whom you can say, I don't know what to do. I'm in an impossible situation. I'm saying and I am doing all the wrong things. I am sinning in ways I never thought possible. Help me. I know from my own life experience that you can be helped, and you will be helped. And then we'll start these extreme growth periods that take off like rapid fire, like the flick of a switch, and they are as amazing as any desert that you've walked through. So one other thing a little bit later on that I just wanted to bring into trusting God. Trusting God saves us and heals us from, this is now Sister Emmanuel herself speaking. Earlier it was Daniela, the wife of Francisco Vallasuso, who had been exorcised, basically, of all his demons. But Sister Emanuela says, trusting God saves us and heals us from the terrible afflictions of anguish and anxiety. Now, this is very important. Anxiety is a trauma response. It is an affliction. And sometimes those afflictions aren't due to yourself. They're actually due to other things that can be of a more spiritual and demonic nature. And I want to bring it back to peace, which was the very first part. And it's the second devil's advocate little piece I want to throw in here. At the beginning of that first quote, I said, We now understand, Daniela says, we now understand that the key to peace is to live in the present moment. Okay, I have one slight problem with that, although it's not really a problem because she would have said this in a particular context and we don't have all of the context. But Jesus says, my peace I give you. That is given. He gives us his peace. He gives it to us. Now, when I was in Medjugorje, I was struck by the peace. And that peace started to penetrate so deeply that even a month after returning, it's still there. And it dropped on me. And I can't emphasize this enough. Now, some people have come on and they've heckled me for pointing out the peace and not all the awful things about Medjugorje. Look, it's a town like anywhere else. You'll get pickpockets, you'll get people coming through, and evil will attack even the best of places. But overall, what you have is incredible peace there. And one thing that I suffered from was a kind of agoraphobia and anxiety, which as a singer-actor I was pretty good at facing and could mask very well. And I think I've mentioned this before, that at one point during that visit, I realized that I was now engaging on the level of prayer, the lofty level of prayer that I had been engaging in when I was in my very early 20s. And it was only when I dropped that, when I was kind of mid-20s, and I was living in France and living in Spain and different places like that, and got distracted. That's when this anxiety kicked off. I never had it before that. And I was an adventurer since I was about 3 years old. Going away and being in different places. Agoraphobia never entered my mind when I was a kid, or when I was a teenager or a very young adult in my 20s. But it appeared. Isolation also triggers things like that. So what I experienced in Medjugorje, and what I have heard an awful lot of other people experience too, is when they're giving their testimonies, is that peace can drop on you. It's given to you by Our Lady there. And you're so aware that it has nothing to do with you and anything you've done except that you showed up. So I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned there. Show up, but also say, I belong to him. Even in your worst moment, I belong to him. I belong to him. You are not God, but he is, and he has redeemed you. He has redeemed you. So with that, I will leave you. I'm going to go through certain texts that have really had an influence on my life. Again, this is a wonderful sister, Sister Emmanuel, and she is the Children of Medjugorje is the piece, and she's talking about Daniela Vallasuso and Francisco Vallasuso, who was her husband. And she also makes a comment: trust in God saves us and heals us from terrible afflictions of anguish and anxiety. Trust in God establishes peace in our hearts. Yeah. So the establishment of the peace, if I can just add a little onto that, keep that same level of prayer. When you get to that level of prayer that protects you and gives you peace, keep it up. That's the challenge. The 5 stones, the rosary, the Eucharist, confession, also fasting and scripture. Keep those going. God bless you, and Ave Maria.